Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Just realised I've, in a right state, left the bag on view. Thanks for joining. Today, I just want to run through our automation engine, and this is the first time we've shown it off to anyone, to be honest, other than those that were at the Empowering Advice Through Technology conference last week in London. So let me start sharing my screen. Video is not good. Oh. Jenny, what do you mean by it's not good? Is it all fuzzy? Fuzzy and blurry. Oh, okay. All right. Excellent. So, right, let's get the screen shared a moment. Let's go. Okay, hopefully this will work. Okay, I'm going to drag this over to a different window. Can you see Planner dashboard? Just checking that everyone can actually see it. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, cool. So today is not the day for running through all the functionality in Planner, but what I will do is take the time to show some of the features that are available. There's an awful lot in here that you can do, but crucially, I want to show how you can take a task that might take someone in your business an hour down to something as short as about 4 or 5 seconds. I know those are strong claims to make, but I think you'll see in a minute that that we can do it. So let's jump into it. So in Planner, you can obviously keep track of your clients, and you can work with your clients or create information and documents for clients, and then share it with them through the client portal. So one of the things that you can do in Planner at the moment is you can tag a client. So very simply, you'd navigate to the client's record and you can add a tag. So let's just say this client likes EV vehicles, okay? It's a rather odd choice to tag, but that's fine. If you wanted to create an event for all your clients that like EVs, you could do that. So adding a tag, it literally, you could do that in a couple of clicks, doesn't really take that much time. The other thing that you might want to do is create a case for you and your team to work together on a particular task. So it could be that you're helping a client with a mortgage application or a pension transfer or something. There's a body of work, there's something you're working on, and you just want to keep documents, tasks, things like that all together. So in Planner, you can do that. You can go to the cases under a client record and you can create a new case. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to set the type as a general client management type of case. I'm going to set the case name to, I don't know, demo. Select the client I'd like to be in the case. It's automatically selected the client I'm looking at, so that's helpful. And then I'm going to set the status. So I'm going to just say it's pending for now and hit save. So this has created a case, and within the case, we can have our own separate list of tasks, documents, notes. We've got conversations in here. You can keep track of time. And we have something called audits, which we'll come to in a moment. So we have our own tasks list, and within the tasks, you can, it works very much like Trello and Asana and other bits of kit. Let's go to this client and go to tasks. Here we go. So in here, I can add a task. So buy biscuits. You can drag those between the columns that we give you by default, but you can actually add your own columns as well. So if you have a specific way of working that you want to bring into Planner, you absolutely can do that. When you edit a task, you can set who the task is assigned to. You can set a due date. You can even add a description to it as well. So adding tasks is just one part of Planner, but the chances are with a pension transfer or a mortgage or even a review, you probably have your own set way of working with clients and your own set list of tasks that you work through. So in Planner, we call those workflows. and you can manage and create workflows very easily. So in here, you can tell us the tasks that you would like to have created for you and when they should be due. So here, I have a thing about hobnobs, if you haven't already guessed. But here I say, when the workflow is created, create a task called order hobnobs, and it's assigned to me. Then create another task with the due date in 3 days' time called book meeting with client. And then finally, or no, there's a few more. Then 5 days after the creation of the workflow, set the due date of this task to buy more coffee. And then you can see that you could just carry on adding them. And you can create multiple tasks at each stage as well. So let's just go ahead and say buy milk for the coffee. I won't set actually we'll say it's set literally on the day that this workflow is created, and I'm going to assign it to myself. And you can see now we have 2 tasks that are created straight away whenever this workflow is initialized. So workflows, you can actually manually choose to trigger those in Planner. So I'm going to go ahead and start a workflow. I'm going to choose the mortgage application that we were looking at a moment ago. And if I hit trigger and then go to tasks, you can see it's created all of those tasks that were in that workflow, and it set the due date for those tasks as well. So workflows, pretty cool, handy bit of functionality. You can also trigger a workflow when you create a case in Planner. So far, we've shown that you can tag, you can create tasks, you can trigger workflows, and you can create a case against a client. And all of this I've done manually so far. We have a built-in document builder with Planner as well. It's all web-based, no plugins to download or install. And you can build up your document templates all through the browser very, very quickly. So let's just go and have a look at the welcome pack. Okay, now this is a very, very basic document, and this is just one I use on demos, but here I've created a little welcome to the client, and I've dragged in client's first name. Okay, now in our document builder, you can drag in a whole list of fields of data that are held on a client, and you can drag that and build up your document templates so that whenever you actually choose to use them, they're swapped out for real live client data. You can add in this document builder, you could bring in images, you can add tables, you can even embed other services from online. So I don't know, let's say you wanted to bring in a Google map to show the location of your office. You could actually pull that into a document very easily as well. So for now, the crucial thing I want to point out is that we're expecting that when this document is actually used, it will swap out this little placeholder here for the client's first name. And while we're here, let's just add in that we pull out their last name as well. Okay, so let's hit save. So we've covered tags, tasks, workflows, documents. The next thing I'd like to show you very, very quickly is client or going into a conversation with a client. So within the client's account in Planner, we have conversations, and here you can create a conversation with them. So let's just say this is a can't type, mortgage review. Oh, I really can't type today. So here we go, we've created a conversation, and in here, it works very much like Messenger or WhatsApp. You can drop in files and it'll share it with the client. You can send a message over to the client. And then when you're done, you can archive the conversation. It will always hold it on Planner, but it will at least just mark it as finished and closed. So let's just go send a message. So, hey there. Okay. Let's whiz that over, and I'm just going to drag a document from my, let's grab this image. I'm going to upload an image to share with the client. Take a look at this. And you can see that even whilst you're typing the message, it actually uploads it ready for when you want to share this with the client. So all of this stuff's not really revolutionary at the moment. This is what you have in the existing systems. I've just seen the question come through about how would the client receive this. So in Planner, you can invite clients to a client portal, and I'll run another webinar shortly on what the client portal looks like. But essentially, just so you know, we will never share any of the information that's been sent to a client from Planner. So, this message, hey there, take a look at this. It might be that you've actually written something quite personal about the client. Maybe you're asking to double check their national insurance number. Planner will send an alert to the client that will pull them back into Planner, into the client portal, to actually look at the content that you've shared. So we won't expose anything sensitive via the email alerts that go out at the moment, but it will drag them back into the client portal to see what they've missed. And also, in a month or two, we should have our mobile app live. So you can ask your clients to download your own branded client app for mobiles. And again, in that, you'll have push notifications, so that if you've sent a message to the client, they'll just get a little alert on their phone like they would at the moment in WhatsApp and things like that. So Edgar, I hope that answers your question. So we've covered document builder, tagging, automations, workflows, conversations. Now, wouldn't it be really handy if, let's say you have a prospect that's come into your business? Wouldn't it be cool to actually build a way that you could automatically do a bunch of things whenever that happens? And we've built our automation engine to do exactly that. So there are various events and trigger points in Planner, and you can latch onto those trigger points to run or automate other processes behind the scenes. So let's go over to the automation engine and have a look at what we call our blueprints. And I'm going to just take a swig of water before I get croaky. So our our automation engine, you can create as many blueprints in our automation engine as you would like. And this particular blueprint that I've created, I've called the prospect workflow. And it's currently active. We show that up at the top. And you can see that there's 6 tasks or 6 blocks that we've dragged onto this particular workflow or automation. And over here on the right hand side, there's a bunch of other blocks that you could drop in. You could introduce a delay at any part of the process. And we're constantly adding to these blocks that are available. And we're talking to third parties as well to add blocks that trigger events on other third-party tools. So for now, let's have a little look at this particular automation. So I've said that the first thing I would like it to do is actually add a tag called prospecting to the prospect. And I should have maybe pointed out beforehand that this particular blueprint is triggered when a client is created, and I've set a condition that it will only run if the client is a prospect. Okay, so down here I've said if the field is prospect is equal to true. There's tons of different operators that you can do in this, and you could, in theory, have a automation or a blueprint that triggers on a male that is over 75, right? You have that level of control with the automation engine in Planner. So this runs if you've created a prospect or if a prospect has been created. And the first thing it will do is add a tag to that prospect. The next thing I've said that I would like the automation engine to do is to create a case called Welcome to Planner. Okay, now cases, remember, are internal, so maybe this would actually be better named something like welcome onboarding process or something like that the team would look at. I've set that the case status when it's created will be set to started, and the case type is a general client management case type. These lists here are controllable by you and your business. So actually, if you had a different type of status that you would like to to have, you absolutely could load them in and use. So the next thing I've said I wanted it to do is actually to create a document. Now this creates a document from a document template, and I've told it that I would like to use that welcome pack document that we were looking at a moment ago. And you can name the document as well. So I've used exactly the same name, but you could put something else in here if you so wish. Now, once it creates a document, it will convert the document template to a PDF, and it will store that PDF against the client's documents sort of Dropbox within Planner. But that doesn't actually share it with the client, because it might be that you just wanted to generate a document that's internal only. Okay, so with the automation engine, you can then tell the automation engine that you want to share that document with the client through the client portal if you so wish. And that's what I do here. So on this share document block, I've said that I would like it to share the document that we created in that create document step. And you could have an automation that actually generates 10 or however many documents you'd like. And through the automation engine itself, you can choose exactly which document you would like to share with the client. And so for this to work, we share this document through a conversation in Planner. I've named the conversation Welcome to Planner. And here I've dropped in the first message that I would like to be in the conversation that accompanies the document that we're sharing with the client. And you'll notice here that there's some squiggly text and some a reference here, client one first name. What this is a placeholder that will swap out for the client's first name when this conversation is created. And you'll see this in a minute. The next thing I would like it to do is to trigger a workflow. So remember, the workflows are the template task lists that you've built up in Planner. So here I've said I'd like it to trigger the mortgage application workflow. That's the one we were looking at a moment ago. I've said I would like this workflow to run on the client, and the client I would like it to run on is the client or prospect that was created as that this workflow is, or this automation is running on. And finally, the last thing I would like it to do is to send a text message to the client saying that we just wanted to let you know that we've shared a file with you in the client portal. So this is essentially the last step of the process, and it just alerts the client. Even though they'll get an email alert, it might be that you want to trigger an SMS to get sent to just draw their attention in at that point. Edgar, I've seen your question about the emails. Yes, at the moment we don't have a block available to send an email, but you absolutely will be able to. I think we're a week or two away from releasing that particular block in our Blueprint Designer. But yes, you will be able to use our variable engine. So you'll be able to drop in placeholders for client information if you so wish, and it will be able to trigger an email out as well, instead of using our conversation feature. So you can see there's 6 processes here, 6 steps, and we asked a number of advisors previously how long it might have taken someone in their team to do each of these steps manually, using their existing bit of kit. And this is how we arrived at the hour mark. So a lot of the advisors that we spoke to said this would take them currently at least an hour to do this, or someone in their team an hour to actually run through this process. So here we've seen the particular blueprint that we're about to run. And as I said, when we started talking about the automations, this particular automation runs when you add a prospect. So let's go ahead and create a prospect now. So I'm going to add a particular prospect. Let's just do a webinar. Actually, no, we'll just do, I don't know, Dave Matthews. Okay. Pop in an email address. Could be anything for now because we're not sending a particular email. But what I'm going to do is just pop in my mobile number. because I want to show that the text message will come through. We'll cover the groups for clients, etc., a bit later on. But right now, I'm going to hit the save button. I'm not going to do it right this moment because our automation engine is so fast that you'll miss a lot of the fun stuff. So let's hit save now and see what happens. So it will take us to that prospect now in Planner, and you'll see at the bottom that we actually have the tags, cases, conversations section. So when this particular prospect was created, obviously there were no tags, there were no cases, there were no conversations. So if I just refresh my browser a second, you'll see that it has added the tag, it has created a case as we told it to, and it has created a conversation. Now, what we should expect when we go and view the conversation is that there will be a message in there and a file. So let's just click on this conversation. And yeah, it has. It's swapped out that placeholder for the first name. And it said, hey, we just wanted to let you know that we've sent you the welcome pack. And this PDF, if I click and open, hopefully it will share this, it has actually brought in those placeholders that we created in our document builder. Okay, so it's a good example of showing the variable engine at work behind the scenes. And it's created exactly what we asked it to create. And it's very low tech. Let's just make sure there's no other notifications that you don't want to see. So because I entered in my mobile number, it's very, very low tech, but sure enough, there is the text that was sent to the client saying, we've shared some information with you. So how long did that take? Well, let's go and have a look. When you click into automations, it will tell you, it will show you all the automations that have run recently in Planner. And this particular automation started at 20 minutes past 11 and 55 seconds, and it had completed in 3 seconds flat. So we've taken an hour's process that you would do currently, and it would take you an hour, to 3 seconds. And it's something that you can just do by dragging and dropping blocks onto our blueprint and automation designer. And that's as complicated as it gets. So I've been rambling on for a little while, but if anyone has any questions that they want to fire into the chat on the right-hand side, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Whilst you might be thinking of something to ask, I did mention earlier that we're talking to other solutions in the financial industry, so cash flow forecasting tools, maybe even AML providers, so anti-money laundering, because wouldn't it be really cool if you had an automation that was triggered when a client has updated their fact find that actually goes and pushes that updated data into the cash flow forecast to then identify whether or not there are any changes as a result of the change in circumstance, which could then be pulled back into Planner to then trigger either more automations or more, perhaps a report could be shared with the client to say, okay, yeah, your income has changed, but we've noticed you now have a deficit of protection, for example. So the possibilities with the automation engine really are limitless. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with this, and yeah, it's a very neat feature. No one's asked any questions, so I'm assuming that everything is okay. But for now, that's all I want to show on this webinar. I will be running more webinars shortly showing the rest of the functionality in Planner. But I thought it'd be really handy to show you how you can take a business process that currently takes you an hour down to 3 seconds flat. And not only that, but it would run automatically at points that you choose to trigger these automations from within Planner. So it's very exciting. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, look out for more webinars shortly.